there, friends and neighbors. Dan Cavallari, Slow Guy in the Fast Ride. Please excuse my hair. I'm here in Copenhagen, Denmark, and this is a day, well, let's say I guess this is day 2, episode 3 of covering the Tour de France by bike. Today was a pretty interesting day. I spent most of it in the press room at the Tour de France. One thing that I have learned about commuting by bike here in Copenhagen is that I should not have brought a really expensive bike. It makes it very hard to park it somewhere. Fortunately, I was allowed to park it in the press room. They were very kind to me, so I parked it in the press room and even locked it up inside. A lot of sticky fingers in a bike capital of the world with a nice bike like this. I've been warned many times by the locals not to leave it outside. So I was happy to be able to lock it up inside. If I had to do this all over again, I'd probably leave my bike at home and use any of the rental bikes that they have pretty much everywhere here. Now, of course, that's not the case in any city you visit here in Europe. Copenhagen's got it nailed. So that's the big lesson I learned today. Now, as I was riding home or back to my Airbnb after a long day of riding in the press room, I stumbled upon the team buses in the paddock, and I got to interview a few of them. And among them was Tom Skoinch, who had this to say about his new bike. Tom Skoinch, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Getting ready to race a big bike race, I heard.
No, I'm here for the coffee and the nightlife.
Oh, you and me both. All right.
Yeah.
You got a new bike underneath you.
As long as it's July 1st, then yes.
What do you think of it so far?
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding it at home for a bit now, and it's quick. I enjoy it more than the previous one. Yeah, it feels. The previous one felt super nice on American big descents, where they're kind of more flowy and big wide turns, versus this one feels closer to the Emonda that we've been riding, and it's a bit more responsive, a bit more agile, I'd say. This year I kind of was like, at home I had only the Emonda in the beginning, so it was every time I went to race a Belgian Cobble Classic, it was kind of a switch I had to make.
Yeah.
Versus I feel like switching between these two now is going to be way easier, just because the handling feels a lot closer.
Okay. So is it more of a comfort feature, this little back piece here?
Well, I mean, the back piece, we had the ISO speed before, and I mean, that comes really in handy on rougher surfaces.
Yeah.
And with the ISO flow, I feel like, yeah, the ISO speed is not necessary, and it really does the job it's intended for. Because, yeah, you can make a really stiff, fast bike, and it can just wreck your back.
Yeah.
So with this, actually, I'm super happy how much it gives you support.
So you're probably gonna race this one the first day on stage 2, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Probably gonna skip stage 1 as long as I can help it. I have two TT bikes, so spare bike, even a TT bike.
Yeah.
So.
You don't want this one on stage 2.
Yeah.
Stage 1.
Hopefully stage 2. Yeah.
What are you thinking for gearing and tire size for that stage?
Definitely gonna go 54 on the front. I don't think 56 is necessary because we have a 10 cog in the back anyways, in case. And then just a 28 cassette, 1028 cassette, pretty easy, simple stuff, nothing crazy.
You running tubeless?
I mean, we have tubeless and we have tubulars, pending rider preference and the day and whatnot. Yeah. But stage 2 is definitely a tubeless kind of day.
Nice. And of course, I ran into several other celebrities that you will see in the Tour de France this year. Mr. Sagan rode by a few times, and all the big contenders. And then very close toward the end of my journeys here today, came across one Tadej Pogačar and his team heading to the team presentation. Everything is getting very excited here and very nervous and tense. Lots of speculation. The pros seem completely unflappable. Everybody is just very calm. It's been really fun to be here again after 2 years away due to COVID. Super happy to be here. Learned a lot about commuting here. Still kind of figuring out some of the rules that I seem to be missing about commuting here, but otherwise I'm just astounded at how well everything here is set up for commuting and for living a life by bikes. One of the other things I learned is that people are very good here about public transportation as well. So riding your bike to the metro, using the metro to get around. And that really dispels with the notion, this very American notion we have, that it's all or nothing with our transportation options. We tend to think, oh, if we get bikes, then we have to get rid of cars. That's obviously not the case. So it's really interesting to see this all in action and how it changes the way people live here. It is really a completely different lifestyle in general. Everybody is riding bikes, everybody's hanging out. There's a lot more socialization, even just people talking next to each other on bikes, and they don't know each other, they're just chatting. I think that's something we Americans have lost as we've spent decades in the automobile. Anyway, so I have to head back to my Airbnb, dump off my stuff, and then head to another event. I will be taking my bike with me, so I will let you know how it all goes. So while I'm hanging out by this real nice statue here, I thought it would be worth mentioning that I did change my bag setup a little bit for today. I just found that I was carrying too much stuff, so I left the two-wheel gear duffel in the hotel room, and I was going to dump everything in my tailfin bag, which is a little bit smaller, but then I thought, you know what? Everything's already in my camera bag. I'm just going to leave it there. So I dumped off both bags. I do have this Ortlieb bag on my top tube, which is actually come in it's come in handy quite a bit for stowing my locks, my phone, and everything that I need to grab on the fly, like this camera I'm holding right now. That's been really super useful. So I just sort of have been taking advantage of all the stuff I brought, which was too much stuff, quite frankly. But it's nice to have options, and I've been using those options as efficiently as possible.